Intergenerational planning is a subject that's been getting some traction in the financial press. What is it? Well, it's nothing more than intentionally dealing with more than one generation when looking at financial planning. Now, for most financial advisors, and I stress most, not all, intergenerational planning will cause them to look downwards, as it were. Their clients are more likely to be 50 and upwards, so intergenerational to them will mean predominantly looking downwards. But I mean downwards to the younger generation, but with increased longevity, looking upwards is also a key factor. So if we're considering the estate transfer, the money transfer aspect of intergenerational planning, let's first of all think about what that means in terms of the numbers. Some fairly recent research carried out by Capital Economics shows that over the next 30 years, we will be looking at a total transfer of around 2.8 trillion, that's trillion pounds, and 900 billion of that over that 30 years will be transferred during lifetime. So these are quite significant sums of money, and the importance of this for the advisor is to be involved as an intrinsic part of that transfer. So to be advising on that transfer, to be relevant to both the transferor and the transferee. So if we consider the transferor in the first place being the more likely client of an advisor who's transferring during lifetime for whatever reason, for estate planning, to move money out of their estate, or the transfer is made on death through their will of funds that are left after perhaps paying for care or just living, then having a relationship with and being relevant to the receiver of that money is absolutely critical to the longevity of that advisor's business. How do you become relevant? How do you have a relationship? The two key factors to me to consider are, first of all, the more you can do to ensure that a greater sum passes down, the more grateful and more willing the recipient of those sums are likely to be, provided, of course, they know that you were the one who helped enhance the amount that they've received. So being relevant to the estate planning process, involving the family in that, will be an important factor in intergenerational planning. And we have many tools at our disposal to maximise the flow of money through to the next generation, be it through financial products or trusts or combinations of them. And let's not forget the absolute importance of protection plans in this. So having a life insurance plan held in trust for the benefit of the next generation will make it very clear to them that they received that and you were the person that arranged for that to happen, and all of that money will flow completely free of tax to either create an inheritance, enhance an inheritance, or provide the money to pay the tax on the inheritance. So really, really important. But the other factor I think that really is important to bear in mind, and this is both in relation to the transfer of the money and just having a relationship with that younger generation whilst the older generation are still alive, is the way in which you relate to them. And many advisors are thinking very carefully about this, because the way you relate to older people and strike a relationship with them is not necessarily the way that works for younger people. And obviously some form of digital engagement seems a bit, of a just prescribed way of thinking, but it is really important to have a means, as well as engaging face to face, to have a means whereby people, old and young, can engage with you digitally when they don't need face-to-face advice. Because then you will be, as the provider of that fantastic digital platform, the place that they more naturally go to when they need face-to-face advice. So I think joining up both your current know-how to advise on money transfer, perhaps helping with the actual administration of the estate through one of the many services available, then helping with the investment of those funds once received, but having the means to engage in the way that next generation wants to engage is absolutely critical to the continued prosperity of your business.